Good evening. This is the North Andover Board of Health. Today is Thursday, May 23rd, 2024. I officially call the meeting to order, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on our agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes from March 28th, 2024.
The minutes were reviewed. I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, minutes
Unanimous.
are approved.
Excellent.
Moving on to the next item on our agenda, which is new business related to 30 Mill Road, the septic waiver from installation certification requirement.
There you go. So this is a policy and procedure that we have in the health department, as basically it's closing out the paperwork and the job from the installation of the design and installation of the, hey, come on in, septic system to construction, inspections, and then documentation as built and certification. We're at the stage now where we're waiting for the installer to sign his certification. We have the engineer's stamp and signature on the form. We don't have the installers, and that is required as part of our policies to close out all of the paperwork and issue the certificate of compliance to the homeowner. The homeowner has been requesting it, but we don't give that out without that certificate, and we can't get that yet. So there's some issues between the installer and the homeowner. So he's applying for a waiver from that requirement from the board. So he's here to discuss the situation and ask for a waiver of the requirement.
Okay. You can either come up to the podium or table, whatever's more comfortable.
Okay, my name's Alan Jordan. I want to thank the board first for taking this time to consider helping me out of this big problem I got myself into for hiring the wrong installer. Just want to go through a few issues that got us where I am today. At the end of his work on my property, I had a $5,000 balance due at the end of his project. $23,000, I paid $18,000, so $5,000. And he was saying and sent me an invoice for $5,900, saying it was extra because he had to hire an outside company because North Andover on 2 attempts was unable to find the water line. To date, he has never sent a paid invoice or anything from any other company. So that's the first issue that got things going. Then on 10/24, when I got home, entering my basement, there was water coming in through the basement foundation where the installer and the plumber put the pipe to the new pipe to the septic tank. He said he did not know what to tell me. When he backfilled, he said it didn't look right. But earlier he had told me he was going to take care of it with cement. So I suggested he come back and take a look, and he never did. So I had to end up hiring someone else to come, dig out and see the problem and fix it. And it cost me money, cement the interior foundation, stop the water from coming in, clean up, and debris removal. That was the first water entry. Then on December 11th, it was much worse. Water came in this time from the basement window, which is approximately 10 to 15 inches to the right of where the new pipe went in. When he backfilled, he went right up to the sill of the basement window. A lot of water came in, so I had to do a lot of cleanup and hire Donner Brothers. They were doing my retainer wall, so they had to do an emergency service call to close off my window. So that's now part of the foundation. That was the other one. That cost me a lot of money. And the fourth and most important is him not submitting the signed certificate to get the Title V required by the town. I had Brian, the director, contact him by email, and he didn't comply or respond. Also, I started a claim with Better Business Bureau, and the same. He didn't respond or reply. So he is seeking 5,900, so I assume that's the reason for him not finishing this off. But I'm at around 7,000 in losses, and the meter keeps running because my family moved out of this house to Methuen, our other house, about a year and a half ago. I moved out in October. So with all the insurance, taxes, maintenance, and repairs, I have to continue for who knows how long now. The meter is still running. So I'm stuck paying for 2 houses, and I can't sustain the expense much longer. So that's the reason for me being here today.
Is this a vendor that comes to North Andover a lot?
Not a lot. He has done work in town before. Typically, we don't get involved in the financial aspects of things. I know these guys have their differences. I did email the installer. I did speak to him as well prior to the email, and he gave me his version of the story. It's a little bit different. And I spoke to the plumbing inspector. So a plumbing permit was pulled for redoing the interior plumbing because they had to raise up the pipe exiting the house to get to the septic tank so that everything would flow properly. He claimed that he wasn't responsible for coring through the foundation or putting the pipe through the foundation. That was the plumber. I spoke to the plumbing inspector. He said the interior plumbing out 10 feet from the house is the plumber's responsibility. So I said, do you know who did the work? So he inspected it, but there was nobody there when he inspected. Or he doesn't remember who was there, but he said he doesn't determine who did the work, but the plumber's responsible from interior to 10 feet off the foundation. Everything after that is the septic installer's responsibility. So there's a little bit of discrepancy there. So have you talked to your plumber?
So I have a photo of the plumber and him working on that pipe, and
Okay.
you came and inspected before it was done and observed a leak, which you were right, on
Yep.
on that pipe that he put in. So he ended up fixing that. But he told me he was going to cement it. He had some extra cement. He was going to take care of it. He said he was going to put bushes in that he tore out. He never ended up doing that.
Okay.
So when I brought it to his attention, when the water came in, before I had someone else I hired to fix that problem, he said it didn't look right. So by him,
Okay.
at minimum, should have brought it to my attention. This all could have been avoided.
Yeah.
This one anyways. The basement window, he doesn't even know about it. I didn't even contact him. There's no reason to.
Okay. So yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a he said, she said.
Yeah.
All I know from a technical standpoint, he's responsible from 10 feet out. Plumber's responsible from 10 feet into the foundation.
Just for him seeing that and saying it didn't look right and not
Okay.
bringing it to my attention, say this should be fixed.
Yeah.
You know, he's been doing it 20-something years.
He's been around for a long time, yeah.
And knowing it and identifying and admitting to me that it didn't look right. When I hired the plumber, they told me, I can't guarantee the watertight water seal. And I agreed, and I hired them anyways.
Okay.
So when the installer backfilled, noticed that it didn't look right to him, he should have brought it to my attention so I could have addressed it before the loss.
Okay.
So basically, the signature we're waiting on
Is the
from
installer.
Is the installer.
Yep.
But theoretically, he's completed his work because he's past the 10 feet.
Yeah, everything from that point forward has been inspected, been engineered, been surveyed.
There was a
Thermal
leak
plan.
that Mr. Grass observed, and he was accurate, and he fixed it. So since my repairs, the window and the foundation, there's no more issues.
But that's not the concern, because we're more worried about the installer, and he's only responsible for 10 feet past the house anyway, so it's not necessarily the foundation. So I guess I'm trying to figure out what the holdup is of the installer. It sounds like it's the unpaid balance.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's the
That's what
unpaid balance.
that's what I would think.
Okay.
So in my position, he owes me money. I'll pay him the $5,000, but my meter's gonna keep going until the Title V. I'm paying for 2 houses. I haven't been there since October. Insurance is very expensive. As you know, the taxes here are very expensive. Utilities, maintenance, repairs, it's been a lot.
Did you file an insurance claim for any damage?
Yeah, I did for the backyard, but I'm gonna end up talking to an attorney and going after quite a bit more because of this unnecessary expense because of the holdup of the Title V.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna go after him and his policy.
No, did he file a lien or anything?
No, Not that I know of.
Okay, because I think he indicated to me that he was going to. I don't know if he
Yeah,
was. I don't know if he was just blowing
yeah.
steam or
Yeah,
what his deal was.
I wouldn't be
but-
surprised, but, then it gets legal, but
Right.
his meter, it's mine, but it's gonna, I think, end up being his meter for him kidnapping, hijacking, however you want to term, holding up my Title V for me selling my house. So I've already talked to someone, an attorney in Boston, and it's gonna, whether it be him or his policy or both, I feel confident that I'm gonna, in the end, be compensated something. But the meter's gonna keep running until I get the Title V. I can't sell the house. I can't put it under agreement and then have the lender, or where's the Title? I don't wanna even make an attempt and keep my fingers hoping for the best, because it's not gonna turn out good for me.
How long is the court process going to take?
Court?
Yeah.
I don't know. And then if he loses, he's not gonna do anything. That's not gonna fix anything. He doesn't care. He doesn't respond to you, Better Business Bureau, so it's gonna have to be someone really going after him legally.
So it's basically coming down to a discrepancy of $900? That is the...
Well, that's...
And I definitely, I
that was the
understand the
initial.
others.
That was the initial. But then with him seeing, I'll say it again, him seeing the problem, he's in a backhoe, looking at my foundation and refilling where the work is done. And he admitted to me, it didn't look right to me. Right then, he should have protected me, did the right thing, and brought it to my attention. And then, not being, he was in a rush to get out of there. So I gave you the first, it started going down real fast, and I knew I hired the wrong installer. I knew it. And then when the basement water come in, and I had a curtain behind this. I never had water since 2002, since I bought the house. It came in the basement all the way to the garage. A lot of water came in, right? So he should have been careful tamping it down or going lower. So now because of him, sustained loss. If it wasn't for the Donner brothers, there was a lot of rain. I don't know if you remember, but there was a lot more rain coming. I don't even know what I would have been. I'd have to stay there, and I wouldn't have been able to control it. So because it's not intentional, he doesn't know what he's doing, he doesn't care, now I'm paying for it. So I get a big problem because of me hiring the wrong installer.
Well, because the problem is that you're going to be caught with legal bills up the wazoo. You can't sell the house without his signature.
Like the director said, he can't make him sign. I can't make him sign it. The Better Business Bureau, they told me he's not even responding.
Have you offered to pay $5,000
I did.
to have it signed?
No, I haven't talked to him since. This was back when it first started going down. And to date, just because someone says that they paid $200, $900, just because someone says they paid a company because North Andover, the town can, that's just him saying it. Maybe it's true. Why not after a year show me proof? This is who I paid. This is the company. Nothing. This should be him. You know what I mean? I don't trust him.
So he quoted you $23,000. You paid him
18.
18.
Yeah, so I have $5,000
So
balance.
he gave you a quote for 23 to do the septic system. You
That's
did
right.
the
I have it
septic
here.
system.
Yeah.
Okay. So the overages, I can see you having a problem with, but and the damages, but you should pay him his initial bill and contract, and then file suit against him for the damages.
I'll do it. Under your advice.
I'm just thinking out loud, because
Well-
he gave you a contract for 23.
Yeah,
He did the work.
he did.
Okay.
He did.
Okay. So
If we,
the overages, those should be change orders. Those should be documented and agreed upon before anything is ever done.
yeah, I know if I pay him $6,000, he probably still won't. He still won't even respond. I'm confident that still won't do it. $5,000 probably wouldn't make him happy.
Okay. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But as far as our responsibility of the Board of Health, we need to have something on file for the,
We close it out after they sign it.
I can't make him sign it.
I would say that, again, thinking out loud, is that whether or not we basically say, you need to pay the balance, the 5,000, and if he doesn't sign, then he needs to come in front of the board,
We can revoke his license.
and then we can revoke his license if he doesn't. But I don't know.
He revoked his license only in North Andover, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
We
That's
don't
not
have
gonna
the-
do anything. He didn't even want to come in the first, he was in such a rush to get out of there. That's not gonna do it, that's no leverage at all. I can tell you right now, that'll make him happy.
Because the problem is then, you know, with a waiver, we're setting a precedent for
Well, if you
future
can't-
contract.
Well, if you can't, you know, this is what I'm here to try to.
But this is why we're thinking out loud too, to try
Yeah.
to help you.
Yeah,
to try-
because that's not gonna do anything for him. It took me a while to get him, and there was other contracts, they weren't comfortable, they didn't wanna do it.
I mean, I'm sure that other towns talk to each other about, like, you know, that they know that
Yes.
somebody's,
Yep.
their license is suspended in North Andover, other towns are gonna pick up on
Yeah,
this.
I'm not feeling that give any leverage at all for me, at all,
Now,
nothing.
would a waiver have any ramifications on a new homeowner as well?
No,
Okay.
but it sets a precedent where it's easier to do a
Right.
waiver than
Right.
to finish the job,
Right.
and to have everybody do their fair share and then part ways.
Right.
So I think maybe 20 years ago, you guys gave a waiver because some guy skipped town completely, and he either died or moved out of country and just took off.
I just don't see how that would apply if the project's already done and completed. I could see if someone takes off or dies and has to start over again or something like that, but this feels different to me.
I
I
think-
feel very stuck.
I mean, I spoke to him a couple weeks ago. I emailed him. So he's not gone. He's still here. I think he's just holding the story ahead until you finish your end of the deal, and then I wouldn't be surprised if he did sign it once you pay him.
Yeah,
That's the feeling that I got when I talked to him. He just feels like he got the short end of the bargain.
yeah.
I feel like if he was not responsive to you, I would, like, but the fact that he is being responsive, he's
Yes.
accepting your calls, accepting your emails,
Yep.
so, I mean, as
Oh,
far as like.
I
the
thought
nor-
he didn't contact you up
He didn't
there,
respond. I invited him to the meeting tonight. He didn't respond.
but you talked to him recently.
I spoke to him a few weeks ago, yeah. So that's when he gave me his side, told me what was going on, what he thought, and he said that he didn't do the work, he didn't go through the foundation. That was his version. So
But-
I
but-
take that with a
but
grain of
seeing
salt.
it- Yeah, but seeing it, knowing, not bringing it to my attention, that
Yeah.
wasn't the right thing to do, it ended up costing me money and a lot of problems.
Okay. What do you think?
I just think that you should pay your bill, and then hopefully he'll sign. If he doesn't, then we can address him.
Yeah, that's not gonna do anything with his license, so I'm back in the same spot.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sympathetic to the situation, it's just the precedent that we set as a board for future that we have to really consider,
And he's
which
been
is
in
the
contact.
problem. Yeah.
I guess if he doesn't sign it after the contract is fulfilled, I'll reach out. I spoke to DEP as well on this. It's a complete local issue, but I will file a complaint with DEP if he's paid in full and does not sign. So if every step is taken and he doesn't sign, I'll file a complaint myself with DEP. And then we can revisit the waiver next month.
Okay. I think that's fair.
So are we making a motion to table the waiver then?
Yeah. I
Okay.
don't think so.
So then I'll make a motion to table the waiver for another month, pending the balance, the 5,000 balance, not the overage is paid. We will get him to come in front of us if he doesn't sign
Yep.
the certification as well. But I don't think we can approve it right now, but we'll table it. Is that
That's
You're going to table for 1 month,
correct?
Yep.
and
I'll reach out to the installer, let him know what's happening. Well, you'll settle up your end of it.
5,000, I will.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we'll get him to sign it. If he doesn't sign it, we'll call him before the board, revoke his license. If he doesn't, I'll revoke his license, and we will file a formal complaint with DEP.
and that's contingent on your payment, correct?
Correct.
Correct. Okay.
So, the wait,
Payment for 5,000 or 5,900?
Whatever the
5,000.
contract was.
Yeah, the contract.
5,000,
There you go.
5,000 is the balance.
Okay.
5,000.
Yep.
Okay.
Has a copy of the contract been sent to you?
No, you can email me a copy of it, that'd be great.
I have it here if you want.
Oh, sure.
We have a second, so, all those in.
Motion second.
Yep, all those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous vote.
Okay.
Thank you. Brian, any other updates?
Yeah, just give me the contract from Alan. Actually, just give it to Tony right over there.
And can I keep that for part of the, oh, the copy, sorry.
There's also the extra.
Okay. Okay, I'll be right back.
All right, thanks, Alan.
Thank you.
All right, I didn't put any official updates on here. I figured we'd just wing it today.
Okay.
I didn't know who's going to be here and who wasn't. Do you want to start? Give us your welcome back report. She's been
know,
gone for
welcome
3
back.
months.
Back.
She's now back as of May 6th. Hallelujah.
Let's see. Summer camps are gonna start soon. We have the same 5 camps in town. The same 2 camps as last year who did great are gonna apply for a variance, which
Okay.
the board last year approved that I could just go. They're applying for the same 2 healthcare supervisors to serve, and they did wonderful last year, got all their competency done. We just ordered sunscreen to add to the parks in addition to the AEDs, and we're also getting a portable one to bring to events, leave outside town hall for a little bit for farmers markets or whatever.
It's a great idea. I like
Great
it.
idea, yeah.
And we are planning hopefully for a shingles clinic at the end of summer. That's it so far.
It's a lot in a couple weeks.
It is, actually. I'm very excited about the sunscreen dispenser. We've been asked a few times if we had a portable one. We never have. We got one this year, so that's definitely a good resource to have to
That's
lend out
great.
to people. The AEDs finally did get installed. I sent you guys an update on that. So it's actually cool. Drive around.
Yeah, the boxes look pretty cool.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
You see the plaque?
No, which one did I see it in? Oh, at the Common.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
They have plaques on now that basically say where the funding came from
Oh, neat.
and
Oh,
that
okay.
we sponsored it with the building department and DPW and got them basically installed, so I had to put us first. Sponsored by the health department. I was gonna put my name, but,
But then they'd be calling you. Like,
Yes.
Hey, you're
Yeah,
the
that's true.
yeah, I know, right?
And the code.
I did think about maybe doing some dedications, and I'm not picking anybody, but like dedicate different AEDs around town to different either groups or organizations. Maybe they can sponsor one, stuff like that. I don't know, just kind of throwing out some ideas.
Adopt an AED.
Adopt an AED.
I like it.
Right? But like dedicating to people that serve the town or did things. I know one of the firefighters, his father was saved by an AED, Rob Crane.
Yep.
And we talked about it, and I was like, that's actually a really good idea.
Right.
So I'll give him credit for that. But I started brainstorming, like, you should sponsor them, dedicate them, maybe some little ceremonies for people. Could be kind of nice. Something that served the town for years and years and years. You know, whatever. So if you guys can think of anything, dedicate the first one to the Board of Health.
Joe.
Larry and Joe.
Oh, yeah, didn't Frank's wife have didn't something happen to his wife?
Yeah.
That she had a cardiac arrest or something like that?
Yes,
Did they use
she
an AED? Okay, yeah.
Well, thoroughly has.
Okay.
We are totally breaking
I-
every law right now. The restart conversation.
Good point.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Well, none of us.
Luckily, we didn't say a last name,
Yeah,
so we
yeah,
did
no,
not
yeah.
Look, none of us
disclose the
treated anybody.
identity.
None of us were
Involved.
involved.
I didn't say anything.
You guys are like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's just
So yeah,
gonna
so
stop us before we go too far.
yeah, yeah. So I thought that was a pretty good idea, and I thought maybe toss it off to you guys, see if you guys have any ideas, or
Okay.
can brainstorm and send me things you guys want to do.
Did you get good response from like the sports teams to send out
I got
the
a few
training?
comments, yeah,
Okay.
not overwhelming, but it was
Okay.
pretty good.
Good.
Yeah, I got a lot of like thanks and this is awesome, so good to have on the fields, stuff like that, which is good. We never got to do a ribbon cutting. I think with town meeting right there, and there was a lot going on. It never quite happened, and then 6 weeks later, the sports seasons are over. But they're going to be there all summer. We'll take them off in the fall, prior to November. So they'll be there for all the fall leagues too, which is good.
That is-
I don't think we have any plans to get any more, but I think we did a good, pretty much blanketing the town with them.
There's even one on the upper turf, right, at the high school?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
I noticed that one.
Yes, there's one
Yeah.
lower and there's one on the
Yeah,
upper.
I noticed
And there's
that,
one on
yeah.
the school.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was definitely a success. I think aside from that, we have the FDA grant that we're still working on. I'm actually taking an FDA training next week. It's 3 days, solid training on, there's 9 standards that standardize a health department for FDA standardization, and I'm working on 3 of those standards and getting training on those. So it'll take some time. It'll take several years, multi-year grants to support us and get us to do all the, there's a lot of documentation, there's a lot of training, there's a lot of processes and regulatory stuff you have to implement to be FDA standardized. And we're going to work on that for, it's going to be at least 5+ years. But the amount of work you got to do and the documentation and the trainings, it's insane. Kind of sorry I applied for this grant. Yeah, that's actually going really well. So I'm going to be away next week in trainings all week. The Public Health Excellence Grant, we are working on our intermunicipal agreement now. It should be finalized soon. The attorneys have a couple hiccups in some of the language, so we're trying to get that straightened out. We're in the process of still hiring. We put the hiring on hold until the agreement's signed by all the towns involved. Just in case anything happens, you want to hire somebody and then have things fall
Right.
through. We don't plan on that happening, but that's been ongoing, and hopefully we can get that done in the next few weeks. Our drop deadline is in September. If it's not signed in September, they pull the grant. So we got to figure this out and get everybody on the same page, which we're working on. Can't think of any other stuff in terms of the grants. I am trying to implement some of the CHIP, some of the mental health phases we did. I mean, we had the presentation a couple months ago from the JECC. I want to reach out and do some more work with them, and also work with our community benefits program manager here on getting some resources out there and some information out to the public. But as of right now, that's where the infancy stages of that. And Shanine isn't here tonight. She's starting with pool inspections. We've got our resident hoarders. We've got typical housing, typical complaints. It's spring, weather's nicer, people are outside, so we're getting all of that wave of complaints. We've only gotten a few rat complaints so far this year. It's pretty good. People think that rats aren't natural. Infestations, not so much, but rats are a natural occurrence in town. That's when they congregate that people get really upset. I think that is it in terms of department updates. I kept the meeting light tonight. Next month we'll probably have the waiver on again. I think that's the 27th, the next meeting. Okay. Any updates from the medical field?
No, just waiting to see what happens with Stewart.
Oh yeah, what's going on with that? You must have heard something.
Oh, it'll be, I'd say we'll know probably the beginning of June, middle of June, everything's gonna be sold to. Nothing's closing,
Good. That's
So-
That's right.
but it'll be sold to somebody.
okay. So Stuart's going to sell off pieces or all at
So
once?
there's one organization apparently that is interested in buying everything.
Okay.
And then there's a couple of organizations, like piecemeal.
Yep.
The state wants to try to do it all together.
Okay.
But it's apparently in a bankruptcy court in Texas.
Wow.
Ah,
That's who is running the show right now.
okay. So obviously the state doesn't want to have gaps in healthcare coverage, but do they have any oversight and determination who can buy it?
So, to a certain degree, yes, but it's basically, so the biggest problem is that, so Stewart sold off the land. So Holy
Okay.
Family, Stewart doesn't own any of the land of any of these hospitals.
Oh, okay.
This was part of the whole
Problem.
problem, yes. And so there's a capital or,
So they lease the land?
so they leased the land back from
Gotcha.
this company
Okay.
that bought it from them, but now that's a big inhibiting factor for other health systems
That
because
makes
nobody
sense.
wants to
Just buy the
Do that.
buildings
Being a
and pay
lease,
lease.
being
Yes, you don't even own, they don't even own the buildings.
You-
You own the chairs in the buildings, but you don't own the buildings. Or the land.
Really?
Yeah.
And you probably don't
Oh.
have any leverage on like pricing.
Correct. So that I think that's the inhibiting factor. The state actually, the legislature just actually unanimously passed a law saying that this is not allowed to happen again in the state.
So
You have to
can't sell-
own
Yes.
the
Well,
property.
you think
I was
about
just
like,
thinking that, like, wow.
hospitals have been around for hundreds, so like,
Yeah.
the land that they're on is not something that they're
Right.
still like paying, most of them are paying
Yeah.
for it. That's why so many hospitals are on hills, did you know that? Because of back in the day, that was not desirable land.
Oh, interesting.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, Holy Family is on a hill.
Yeah.
North General is on a hill.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting. I did not know that. All right.
Well,
I
think if
mean-
you went back in farming land, would you wanna be on the top of the hill, or would you wanna be on the flat land of clean at the top?
Yeah. Hard
Alright.
in the field having to walk uphill to get home
Little
every day.
General's on a hill.
Yeah,
There you go, okay.
I've learned that. That was like one piece of useless information I think I learned in my bachelor's
Excellent.
program.
So Stewart, do you know when they sold off all their land?
2008 or 2009?
Interesting. So they owned all the land. They own the hospitals. They sold the land off to a company that now they pay a lease to.
They lease it back. Yes.
That's a quick influx of cash.
Well, it's four bucks, right?
That's what,
But
then COVID hit.
Yep.
They got all the influx from the federal money from the government.
yep.
Then all that dried out, and then all the vendors didn't get paid. And then we have what we have.
They have these things called business schools.
Yep. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
All right.
So, I mean, I think the fact that they filed for bankruptcy was a good thing. It
Yeah.
allows now the courts involved, things will move very quickly.
Yep.
So, but the land portion of, that's the
hiccup.
yeah, it's fascinating.
It really is.
It's
That'll
just,
be a case study for
I
programs for years.
believe
Yeah.
there's already a Netflix thing
Oh, really?
apparently in the works.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
All right. How
Yep.
about you?
I'm good.
Good?
Yeah,
All right.
just sailing around.
Jen?
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing?
Same old, same old.
All right. I think that's it then. I don't have anything else.
Well, that is the extent of our agenda for this evening.
Yes.
I will take a motion to wrap up.
I'll motion.
There you
that we
go.
Wrap up.
Perfect.
Anyone want to second that?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of ending the meeting?
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned.